Valley Club, there's a lot of great teams in Marvel Strike Force. Some are great that you build all the way to the moon. Some are trash that you just totally avoid. But then there's a lot of good teams that you do need to build in Marvel Strike Force. But because they're good, you might risk over investing in these teams and become resource trapped. So in this video, we're going to reveal the biggest resource trap teams in Marvel Strike Force. And if you're ready for all that, you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button and let's go smash it. And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin and I hope you're having an excellent day. In this video, we're going to talk about the biggest resource trap teams. They're not trash teams. They are good teams, and every single one of these teams, at some point in the game, it is worth building them, but you don't want to over-invest in these teams. We're going to talk about which point that I would recommend stopping to build these teams. And if you do get some value from this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know as soon as a brand new video goes up. At least 5 pieces of Marvel Strike Force content every single week on this channel. Well, let's jump into the game and talk about the first team on this list, and this is the Spider Society. They were dominant all over the place for a while. They were a raid team, so you did need to build these characters for the raids. They were great in War. They were great in Cosmic Crucible, so you had a lot of value from this team. However, since the Vigilantes were released, Spider Society pretty much fell off all over the place. Not really used in the current raids, the hardest version of the raids, the Chaotic Storm raids. You don't really need them because the Vigilantes are great in that, and Spider Society doesn't really work too well in the Chaotic Storm raids. Now, as far as their value in Cosmic Crucible and War, they do have a little bit of value defensively, but for that, I don't think it's worth building. I think if you have them built up from their previous value in the raids, you can use them on defense in Crucible or War, but they're countered by a lot more things. I think at this point, when you stop building the Spider Society, as soon as you have access to the Vigilantes. Now, the full Vigilante team is farmable or available in the Intel store. So as soon as you have them unlocked, you stop putting all your resources into the Spider Society and then shift everything towards the Vigilantes. They are going to be the raid solution, and they do have value in other game modes, kind of like the Spider Society did about a year ago. So Vigilantes are the team to go with. Just use what you need for the Spider Society and then go with the Vigilantes, even on some of these city nodes, the city hero nodes for Odin. I think you still go with Vigilantes, and Elektra is a villain, so you're gonna have to replace someone in there. And I think you go with Blade or Oath and then the rest of the Vigilantes. So even for Dark Dimension, I don't recommend building them anymore unless for some reason you have zero access to the Vigilantes and can't unlock them. All right, next trap team that I want to discuss is a Sinister/Superior 6. Now they are still good in Crucible, they're still good in War, but they're an outdated team. They have the pre-Ares stats, so they're not going to compete stat for stat with any of the current teams. So there is still some justification in building them up because they do have value in other modes. And the main reason that you might be tempted to build this team up is for Dark Dimension 8. Dark Dimension 8, there is a node for city villains, and currently there are not a lot of great city villains outside of the Sinister 6. So once you are done with Dark Dimension 8, have Odin unlocked, the only value this team has is Cosmic Crucible and War. So if you want to continue to build them for that, just realize I do have some outdated stats. I would probably build other teams before the Superior or Sinister 6, but once you have them unlocked, or once you have Odin unlocked, it is really up to you what you want to build with this. I think there is some value for Green Diamond Classic because he's a legendary character. He has a lot of counterattacks. He goes very early in Cosmic Crucible on a Superior 6 team, but they are kind of a niche team right now. They don't really beat any of the meta teams that are on defense in Cosmic Crucible. They're still pretty good in War, but there's a lot of other great War teams. So this could be a potential trap for you after Dark Dimension 8. Our next team on this list is the Undying team, and they are very good in War. However, outside of War, just don't have as much value. I don't see any combinations of teams with these Undying characters in Cosmic Crucible right now. Maybe Zombie Juggernaut because he is a pre-taunt tank, but outside of that, not really seeing Zombie Scarlet Witch, Hela, or Zombie Iron Man anywhere in the meta right now outside of War. Now, when should you stop building this team? Well, once they can do what you can do, what you want them to do in War, you stop building this team. But I think you wait to continue to build this team if they're doing what you want in War, until we get the 5th member of the Undying. The community did vote for Zombie Kestrel. She's probably coming out in October to add to this team. At that point, this team will get a rework, have a resurgence, be very good in War again, maybe have their value extended to the other game modes as well. But right now, as of me recording this, Undying, their only real value is in war. And once you have that settled, you could stop investing in them and shift your resources to other teams in the game. And the Extreme X-Men have been on many previous versions of this list. The thing about this, I think a lot of people for the new version of the raids, the Chaotic Storm raids, was expecting these characters to be phased out. They are the oldest raid team that still works in the raids right now. But because they still work, you take out Cyclops, put in Old Man Logan, and can fully sim the Chaotic Storm raids. I think there is still value in building this team, but again, outside of the raids, once you could fully sim the Chaotic Storm raids with the 4-piece Extreme X-Men and Old Man Logan, I think there's very little value to go back and build this team. I know there are some nodes in Danger Room that Cyclops gets some extra tags. I don't think it's worth building a character just for Danger Room though. So Extreme X-Men, this is a good team, but they're an outdated team. They have the pre-Ares stats. They don't really do too much. Maybe Nightcrawler. Outside of Nightcrawler, they don't do too much in Crucible or War. It can be used on defense, but I wouldn't build up a team just for defense. So build this team up. Once you could beat the Chaotic Storm raids, stop putting any investment into them. The only exception might be Nightcrawler. You can use him in other game modes, but outside of Nightcrawler, just invest in for the raids. And then Old Man Logan is kind of involved in the arena meta right now, so it is kind of worth building him. He's not a great character to take in a Dark Dimension 20, so don't put any Gear Tier 20 on Old Man Logan. Not Dark Dimension 20, the Professor X saga. I don't know. Anyway, Old Man Logan is not a great character for the Professor X saga, so only after you have Professor X unlocked or have all your characters set for Professor X saga is when I would upgrade Old Man Logan. But this team is a trap team, but they do have value. Like I said, they are the sim team for the current raids. All right, next team on this list is a team that's been on many of these previous videos and is still a raid team that's needed in the raids right now, unfortunately. It is the Alphalight team. They're currently needed in the Spotlight 2 raids, but once that Spotlight 2 raids is done, I don't think you put any investment into the Alphalight. They are okay in war, still on defense. They do have some abilities that make them pretty good on war defense, but pretty easily countered on day one by the mercs for money. So I don't know if you continue building them for war because they're easy counter. Once you could beat the Spotlight raids, their section of Spotlight raids with the Alphalight, I don't think there's a lot of value building any of these team members. Guardian does have a little bit of value because his early offense up. Northstar has a great ultimate, and Sasquatch is a pre-taunt tank. So there is value in those three things, but Wolverine, Sunfire, very little value. And if you don't have that problem that you need a pre-taunt tank or a strong ultimate that flips a lot of stuff, removing some revive once if you don't need an early offense up for your entire team, I don't think there's a lot of value in building this team right now. So invest in them for the Spotlight raids. After that, it is up to you what you want to do. But watch how much investment you put into this team, because this is an outdated team that's probably going to be replaced in the next version of the Spotlight raids. And another Spotlight raid team is the Uncanny Avengers. They are needed in the Spotlight raids. There's a full section towards the end that requires the Uncanny Avengers. The unique theme about this is they split up into two teams, one for Cosmic Crucible in the Immortal X-Men and one for War in the Mighty Avengers. Now, you can start to build some of those characters for War or Crucible if you like that game mode. The Immortal X-Men, they're an okay offense team in Cosmic Crucible. The Mighty Avengers, they're an okay offense team in War. So if you're really into one of those game modes, War or Cosmic Crucible, I think you lean into that version of the team. However, once you have your Spotlight raids settled, stop building a full Uncanny Avengers team and just lean into either the Immortal X-Men or the Mighty Avengers, depending if you like War better or Cosmic Crucible better. If you don't like either of those modes, just build this team just for the raids and then stop, because their only other value is with the Immortal X-Men in Crucible or for the Mighty Avengers in War. This is not a newer team anymore, so there's not really events that you need to build them up for. So this is just pretty much for the raids as a full team. But like I said, you might want to build off the subsequent Crucible or War team if you enjoy that mode and have a problem that you want to solve in that mode as well. All right, and this next team is going to be either one or the other, depending if you like War or Cosmic Crucible. Both of these teams are fit into that Cosmic section for the Professor X saga. So I think you build one of these teams for Professor X, the other you leave on the side. and that is either the Starjammers or the absolute AForce. Now, I do think there's value, and you need to build Lilandra. She's required for the Professor X saga, and I think there is still value in building Kahori. But outside of that, I think you go with whatever team that you are, if you like the game mode more. So if you like Crucible, you use the Starjammers in the Professor X saga to get to the cosmic section. If you like War more, you go back to the older absolute AForce and build them up. In particular, I'm talking about Kahori, Miss Marvel Classic, and Medusa. And when I'm talking about the Starjammers, I'm talking about mainly about Lilandra, Howard the Duck, and Havoc. Groot does have some value there, but as far as both of these teams, you pick one, go with the, and then kind of forget about the other, except for the characters that I mentioned there. So, like I said, if you are into War, you might want to skip the Starjammers. I think most of their initial launch events are over, so you're not risking much by not investing in them. But I think you do need to continue to build Lilandra because she's required. But if you're more into War, you lean towards the absolute AForce and you kind of skip most of the Starjammers. Like I said, you still need to build Lilandra, but you don't have to overinvest in Havoc or Howard the Duck or Groot or Rocket or anything like that. So pick one, pick the game mode that you enjoy the most, and just go with that team. If you don't really like War, if you don't really like Crucible, build up Kahori, build up Lilandra, and you might not really need the rest of these characters. So this one is really dependent on the kind of game, on what you enjoy most in Marvel Strike Force, but you either need Starjammers or absolute AForce. Pick one, and then you could divert your resources away from the other. But like I said, Kahori and Lilandra, regardless of which game mode you like, both of these characters are worth building. And the Thunderbolts, they are a team that you have to build for the bio section of the Chaotic Storm Raids right now. However, once you're done with that, they seem to have very little value outside of that. I don't know if any of these characters are worth building up for the Professor X saga. Maybe Ghost for some of the previous Dark Dimensions as well. But outside of that, I don't think you really need them outside the raids. In their room in Cosmic Crucible, the Thunderbolt room in Cosmic Crucible, they're beaten pretty easily. They're not that great in wars. So outside of the raids, I don't see too much value. Yes, there are some events, the Harbinger events, they have that Harbinger tag that you need to build them up for some of these events. If you want to, get a lot of points for these events, you need to build them for that. But outside of the events and outside the raids, I don't think they have a lot of value. Not really for War, not really for Cosmic Crucible, not for the Dark Dimension 8 or Professor X sagas. So you just build them for the raids, and once you're done with simming the raids, you can rely with some of the raids. I think you can start to save your resources or divert them to other teams. And last but not least is the new team, the Accursed team. Only Helverine and Juggernaut Mordo are in the game right now. As I'm recording this, Satana and the Hood are not in the game yet. These guys obviously is the newest team, so you do need to build them for the events that are coming up. There's gonna be some Harbinger events. There's gonna be some other type of events. Usually there's like a Pocket Dimension or a Kiln Tower that requires the newest team. So you do need to build them for that. However, once those events are done that are like promoting the newest team, I don't see this team having a lot of value outside of Crucible. Yes, they're very good in Cosmic Crucible. They're very hard to beat on defense in Cosmic Crucible, and they beat a lot on offense in Cosmic Crucible. But outside of that and their initial events, I think this is a fully skippable team. Now, some of these initial events, they might be so valuable that you're like, all right, I need to build them for that. And you might forget about them. I don't think it's worth taking them to Gear Tier 20 right now. I don't see a lot of value outside of this team and outside of Cosmic Crucible for them. There are some pieces that, like Satana, synergizes well with the rest of the curse. So if you're not bringing the rest of the curse, I don't think it's worth using them in other game modes. Some of the early testing for their curse, they don't seem very strong in War. They seem, I don't even know if they're in the top 8 War teams. They might be in your top 12, but I don't know if they're going to be in your top 8 War teams. And obviously not for the raids. I don't see any of these characters being used in Arena. They may be required for some Battle World nodes because the devs like to promote the latest teams, but again, outside of some of these initial release events and Cosmic Crucible, I don't see a lot of value for the Curse team. So if you don't like Cosmic Crucible and you're not really pushing a lot of these early Harbinger events, I think you can skip divert some of your resources from what you would have used for a Curse and put them onto other teams. And just to go over some squads that did not make the list, the Vigilantes I think are great, useful. in a lot of game modes. Liberty is great in Cosmic Crucible. They are a war team, but they're great in Cosmic Crucible as well. I think those are some great teams to build. And then we have the Astral team, great in War, great in Crucible, great for Battle World. And then Night Stalkers, Orcus are older teams, and Annihilators actually are great teams that are still worth building as well. So those are some of the newer teams that I think are worth building, but I think all the teams that we mentioned are research traps. Again, these aren't trash teams. You do need to invest in these teams to some extent, but once you've made that investment, I don't think you continue to build these teams to the moon. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of the choices on this list or any of my justification for having these teams on the list. And if you did get some value from this video, leave it a like, check me out on social media, check out my second channel, all about Raid Shadowlands, another game that I've been playing for about 3 months, having a lot of fun with it. Very intricate type of hero collector game there as well. And if you want to see the best characters for Dark Dimension / Professor X Saga, check out the video up there. I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk Fist Bump ValleyFlyin out. Take care, guys.